Okay, I wasn't ready for this episode. This is episode 4 of season 1 of Blue Eye Samurai. Blue Eye Samurai. Um, it starts with Misu and Ringo traveling to a new town, and you don't really know what's going on at this point. They see a duel where a guy gets killed really quickly, and then Misu says she's looking for a brothel, which Ringo's like, you know what they do at brothels, but Ringo has no idea. So they find the brothel they're looking for. Misu is looking for the specific brothel. They go in, and Misu asks specifically for, I think, Madame Kaji, I think is the name of the woman who runs it. They try to throw women at Misu, obviously thinking she's a man. Not interested in anybody there, just Madame Kaji. Now, this episode is called Peculiarities because that's what this brothel is known for. It's known for the women doing things at this particular brothel that aren't done at other brothels. It's a very interesting clientele, desires from the clientele anyway. And they show some stuff, and that's better left to the imagination, or you should watch the episode if you haven't. And yeah. Anyway, I won't go into further detail because it doesn't have a whole lot to do with the plot, other than this brothel is the real deal. As far as it's pretty serious. It's not a low class brothel. It's just that they expect the women to do whatever the client wants, which is a factor later on. But at any rate, Misu holds out, sees finally Madame Kaji introduces herself to Misu. It took a while. Ringo waited, of course. Misu offered Ringo to leave, but Ringo was like, a student stays with the master, basically. So, anyway, Madame Kaji and Misu have a conversation. Madame Kaji's trying to get Misu to, loosen up, basically, and indulge her pleasures, her desires, and but of course, Misu's singularly focused. And turns out what the reason Misu was looking for Madame Kaji is because Madame Kaji's women are the ones that go to Abijah Fowler. And Misu is like, well, if you send your women to Abijah Fowler, then there's a way into his castle. So I want to know what it is. So then you're like, oh, okay, that's the reason why they're at the brothel, and Misu wanted to see this specific woman. Anyway, so she's like, why should I tell you this? And Misu was like, Misu actually brings up Haji Shindo and says something like, if Haji Shindo's ever hit you, if it was with his right hand, consider yourself avenged. Because she chopped off Haji Shindo's right hand, right arm up to the elbow, basically. But anyway, she said, she basically offers her services, and sure enough, the Madam Kenji says she wants someone killed, and she tells the story of this deaf mute that came to her that she protected, who was abused before, and she protected her, and the deaf mute said she'd rather die than have another man touch her. So Madam Kenji protected this young lady up until there was a boss in the town. I can't remember his name, but he has this syndicate or this group of warriors called Thousand Claws who protect him. And this boss asks for half of the money of all people in town, including Madam Kenji. And anyway, the boss finds out about this deaf mute and steals her from Madam Kenji. So, of course, Misu's like, okay, so you want me to kill this boss? So, of course, Madam Kenji, and so not of course, this is like really deep stuff. Madam Kenji says, no, I want you to kill the deaf mute. If you kill the boss, they're going to destroy my brothel and, burn everything down. I need you to kill the deaf mute and make it look like an accident. So Misu agrees to do this. And they go on, and it is, and she does it. She stages the accident beautifully. But she's rattled by the whole situation. And while she's actually on the ground level shaking, she had to go up to the second or third level to do this. The deaf mute was being tended to by a doctor, so she staged it to make it look like the doctor killed the deaf mute, and the deaf mute tried to stab the doctor. I mean, she tried to set the whole thing up, and then went downstairs, and she was kind of rattled and shaking, and this young boy walks by, and she sends the young boy, says, "Go tell the night watchman there's been a fight." And then she goes back and tells Madam Kenji that it's been done. And the episode actually ends with the boss coming to Madam Kenji's. The boy points out Misu, and I think the boss has the doctor, maybe, because the doctor didn't get killed. The doctor that was tending to the deaf mute, and kills the doctor right in front of Misu and Madam Kenji, and then tells them tells the 1,000, because all his 1,000 claws are with him, tells them kill everybody and burn his place to the ground. So that's how the episode ends. Meanwhile, back in the Batcave, there's more to it than that, because these episodes have they're multi-layered, and it's hard to talk through an entire episode straight through. You have to go through the storylines. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do that with this particular show. Anyway, going back, Akemi, of course, escaped from her father. So her dad is talking to a young woman who's been down, looks like Akemi, trying to tell her, hey, you got to do this, you got to get married. Shows her sexual position she needs to learn to please her husband in these cards that he has, and he's trying to give them to her. And it turns out the young woman he's talking to, she has her back to him. It's not Akemi, it's somebody who is set up to look like Akemi. So the father in that moment finds out that Akemi is missing. So he wants, he goes to Seki, who has come back. Of course, Seki was with her when she decided to go to the brothel. And that Goro guy she hooked up with, who was really excited to have her to sell to a brothel because she was so pure. So Seki says, I don't know what happened to her. He basically lies. And the father is enraged. He's like, y'all find my daughter. So that's that. Meanwhile, Akemi has been dragging Goro from village to village to village to village to village because she doesn't want to be in a brothel. She doesn't want to work in a brothel. She wants to find Taigen, the guy she wants to marry. So she's dragging him around. And finally, she comes across that same duel in the same town that Misu and Ringo saw. That quick duel where the guy died really fast. She sees Misu and recognizes her. And so she's like, okay, I'm where I need to be. And she ends up going to the same brothel and offers her services through Goro. The woman takes her in, tells Goro, hey, I'll pay you big money for her if she passes the test tonight. So they give Akemi a test with this big fat guy because she wants to go and be assigned to Misu, obviously, because she wants to find out where Taigen is. But they make her go to this big fat guy first, and she's really educated. She talks poetry. She basically makes this guy masturbate. It's really an interesting scene. It's kind of funny. She stops the guy because he wants her to disrobe. He wants to kiss her. He wants to do things with her, but she actually works the situation where he actually pleasures himself and then passes out. And so then she leaves there and says, okay, where's the demon or the samurai, whatever they called, Misu. So then she goes to Misu and offers Misu tea that she's not poisoned, but there's some kind of sleeping agent she put in the tea that she got from Goro, that she stole from Goro. Misu tells her to drink it with her, and they talk for a minute, and turns out Misu recognizes her. Akemi tries to kill Misu twice because Misu is basically talking crap about Taigen to get her to get enraged. And she's like, you thought I didn't recognize you, whatever. So ends up tying up Akemi having Ringo watch her. And that's when she went and dealt with the deaf mute. There's also the scene where they actually show Taigen. Taigen's in a dungeon at this point because Taigen was captured by Haji Shindo and Abuja Fowler. So he's tied up and they're beating the crap out of him, trying to find out about Misu. He won't tell. And the last thing that happens, he gets hit by the hand and then a club, and then they're about to hit him with a hammer, stop that, and then ask him a question. Taigen's not giving him information. Haji Shindo is like, why are you doing all this for somebody, who's not a friend or whatever? And Taigen basically says, Misu deserves better than you, as far as, I guess, a death or a fight or whatever. So the next thing that happens is you hear that he's going to get cut with a knife, and he screams because he got cut. They don't show what happened. So that's that. Taigen's being tortured in a dungeon. I think that's it. I think that's the last major plot point. They show Abuja Fowler in like a not a monastery. What do they call it? Like a little chapel that they had built for him with Jesus, on the cross, hanging on the wall. And he's having a conversation with Jesus about, basically wanting favor and something he's got going on. And just talks about building some kind of shrine to Jesus, basically, so he can bring more people, so more people can come in and learn Christianity. Basically, you help me out, I'll open up the doors of Japan and, let more you can have all the souls you want here, because I don't need souls or whatever. I don't even know what it was for. I assume it'll be important later, but it was what it was. Abuja Fowler is not very interesting to me at this point, other than the fact that Misu wants him dead. It was a really, really good episode. It was a really deep episode. Seeing Misu struggle with a death, with killing someone for the first time, because she went to the deaf mute and broke her neck. She was gentle about it. It's just that you could be killing somebody, but it really messed with her because this young lady was looking, and she actually told the young lady she was going to protect her. She held her and then she snapped her neck. She did it in a way where the young lady didn't know it was coming, and she didn't want her to suffer, but it really, really messed with her. To see the respect that Taigen gave Misu and being tortured and not giving Misu up was very interesting. Seeing Akemi and her intestinal fortitude to not only get into the brothel, and this brothel, they were saying that this brothel, how did Madame Kenji described it as the things that the people do in that brothel are things that women hope in most brothels they can get through the night without having to do. Said we start our day doing those things. So it's a really, really nasty place, or it can be, because men, whatever their desires are, they tend to them. And to see her go into that room with that fat guy who everyone was talking about and actually work it to where she didn't have to take her clothes off was amazing. So she's a really, really impressive character herself, and it showed the depth of her character, even though she is spoiled and she did grow up privileged. So there's a lot of obviously loose ends going on there. I think there's 4 more episodes to this, so there's a lot. We're in the middle of this this saga. I really kind of getting to the point where I hate there's only 8 episodes because I'm going to miss this show. The show is really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. And, I was watching Vinland Saga, which is 48 episodes. I really got to get into that, and it was really good. This is only 8 episodes, so I'll be done with it in a couple of weeks. But it's a really, really good show, and I really, really hope they have more coming after this. Anyway, episode 5 is next.